Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Darksiders. I'm your host, VGMKoren, and today we're going to use Rune a lot. That's right, in the last episode we finally got War's Horse back, making him an actual one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. It takes most of the game to get this, and as you might remember, there's something in this room. Something mean. Something big. Something that should show up before... Okay. That's right, it's a giant worm, and we're running into a wall. Oh god. Let's stop running into a wall, let's get out of first person mode, and shoot this thing. Okay. So, we're on a worm hunt today. First we gotta kill this beastie, and then we gotta go find the Stygian. But first, before he does anything else, he's gonna prove that, you know, he was just playing when he was hunting us earlier, because he didn't possess the capability to... oh, I don't know, blow up those platforms. You know, that probably would have made war a lot less effective. Oh god! So I've already failed. Let's listen to Volgrim. Let's listen to Volgrim.
Did you see that? There was something glowing in its mouth, right before it turned you into kibble.
That's right, the way to beat this giant worm... What should I call this thing? It's gonna be big-ass worm. The way to beat it is to hold down the right trigger to shoot Mercy while running away from it on Rune. This is the real use of getting Mercy in this game. That's right, you have giant worm on horse and pistol action. It's a little bit of a weird genre, but I can get into it. I hope you can. This is just a really weird fight. This worm serves as the mini-boss, well, as another mini-boss of this dungeon. I guess there's already been the guy that was riding War's horse. How did he get my horse? Like, why didn't War have his horse? Where did War's horse go? Why wasn't War's horse in the apocalypse? Darksiders contents itself to never ask any of these questions. Don't think too hard about Darksiders' plot. And when the worm goes down, it's time to ride at it, and as always, press B. That's right, Rune is not only, you know, a horse, he is a improvised explosive device horse. Well, the way is open for us now.
But that was only practice for the Stygian, the biggest and meanest of them all.
Yep, that's right. The Stygian is a bigger version of that worm. Well, maybe. You'll see when we get there, and... oh joy, it's another third-person shooting section. Are you ready to have fun? Because this isn't going to be it. So I'm going to review the third dungeon in Darksiders, because I've already said pretty much everything I could possibly say about these turret sections. I don't know why there's a turret section in an action game, but oh well. The third dungeon is pretty crazy. Like, the absence of keys and the use of different kind of mechanics to get you through this dungeon are kind of interesting, and I am taking a lot of damage, just like a winner. Or maybe a loser. Actually, I'm taking a ton of damage. Whoops. This section is... I mean, the third dungeon is very interesting. Like I said, you'd never think it's a dungeon. Wow, that just instantly killed that guy. That was nice. You wouldn't think it would be a dungeon from when you get here, but by now you've probably realized, hey, this is a dungeon. This isn't just like wandering around an overworld. So it's kind of interesting like that. And I've talked about that before, yes. That guy appears to have bugged out. I am encountering more bugs and weird things in this Let's Play than I ever did playing by myself. Oh, that's a big one. I do not want to fight a big one. I do not want to fight it, and yet he is coming for me, and this guy needs a crotch spike. Or a head spike. So, this is probably the hardest and one of the last turret sequences in the game. Sequences. Not sequences. Wait, I don't know what I said. It's one of the last ones, though. which is probably a good thing, because if you're like me, you're probably getting sick of doing these by now. This is the 4th one, and it's just kind of weird. I preferred the game when it's, you know, it was ripping off Star Fox, not having really weird gun mechanics thrown in your face. Alright, you might think I want to put the gun down and just sprint for it, but unfortunately no, you can't really do that. This place is the last cave, the last hurrah before the boss of this area, and, well, you just kind of need to deal with it. Speaking of dealing with it, even though I picked up that treasure chest, there are still more demons for me to deal with. Explode. I demand your explosions. Alright, so Darksiders is still an interesting game because this is, as I've said before, not a unique game by any stretch of the imagination. You've probably seen these mechanics before in many, many different games. What makes Darksiders a little bit unique is how it has all these different mechanics in one game. Even though some of them, like these turret shooting segments, aren't all that thrilling. It's just a lot of gameplay, and it's a lot of different gameplay, but is it worth it? That's my big question, and you should comment below what you think, because even though it has all these different gameplay types, hello big guy, some of them are much less refined than each other, and they're not as refined as games like you might play otherwise, with only 1 or 2 of these mechanics. So that's kind of interesting. But at the same time, I can't really complain about this game just having so much different to do. If you were just using Chaos Eater this whole time, it might get a little bit boring. But on the other hand, if I want to play a third-person shooter, I'd probably go play one. I wouldn't load up Legend of Zelda expecting to throw C4. Well, I guess that's a bad comparison since bombs. Huh. I wouldn't boot up Zelda expecting to use a revolver and, you know, put some holes in Zelda. Or something. Nope, I got nothing. I got nothing else. Alright, there is an artifact down here. Be sure and grab it on your way down, because you probably won't be coming back to this area. Yeah, the 3rd dungeon has the least, like, it has the least to go back and see again, at least these hallways with never-ending amounts of demons. They are just here to get killed. But that's okay, because I enjoy killing them, and hopefully you do too. The sword gameplay, as well, as you probably have figured, is a lot more satisfying to do than the gun gameplay, and that might just be my taste. I really like using swords. I'm not always the biggest fan of guns. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna take that guy's legs right out from under him, like always. You would think that they would, you know, after this happened a couple hundred times, they would hold a demon seminar class on how not to get your legs chopped off by war. But no. They all just are content to get their legs to go away forever. I wouldn't want my legs to go away forever. That combo I'm using, the delayed X combo, is a lot more useful for slow attacks. Or for slow attacks, for group combat. And here is the weirdest Vulgrim position in the entire game. Hi, Vulgrim! Bye, Vulgrim! We don't care. There's something else that we want to do. Alright. So it's cutscene time, maybe. Well, as soon as we get over there. I'm gonna keep you in suspense. Suspense. this is kind of a cool area.
That's the Stygian. Looks like they worked him over pretty good. Now, you just have to get in there and finish what they started.
That's true, and to do that, you have to wade through this horde of demons. I'm impressed that the game can run all these hordes of demons, even if, you know, most of them just stand there going, yeah, it's a Stygian, yeah, and then they get cut down by war. But the Stygian, we made the ground too fertile with death, and it managed to break free.
Right, horseman. Do what you were born to do.
Because it was fertile with death. And there, if you didn't hear it, there was a Wilhelm scream in that cutscene, which is kind of hilarious because that is the last noise I kind of expect for don't eat me, don't eat me, don't eat me, don't, for a demon to make. And I'm going to continue saying don't eat me. Alright. So, as you may have noticed, unlike the other worms, this one has a giant metal casing on its mouth, given to it by the demons. This is kind of unfortunate for you because its weak point is the same. So here's what you need to do. Get up to it and beat the hell out of it with your sword. There you go. Now it's gone. That's kind of a weird mechanic. It took me a while to figure it out the first time because, well, it doesn't really seem like you're doing anything, even though you totally obviously are once you get there. The Stygian, he is a bit more complicated than the other worms you fight. Like, he will chase you underground and then leap up and roar. He's kind of cool like that. And look at this terrain. It looks really good, and what's there? That's a lot of sand. What's going on? Oh no, babies! The land became too fertile with death, and the Stygian had children. Yep. That's what happened. Alright, so kill all the Stygians, babies that made with the fertile with death ground. That's what I'm going to keep calling this place. I'm sorry if that's... But it's true. Look at all these babies. Look, they weren't here before. But that's what war is here, and he has this extermination weapon, which is a gun. I mean, just imagine if exterminators came to your home armed with a never-ending ammo revolver. That would be terrifying. I mean, first of all, that's going to cause a lot of damage to your house, and homeowner's insurance probably won't cover that. This is a... What? I'm sorry. And the Stygian is back. I killed all of her, I guess, babies. And now the fight becomes exactly like the other fight. Just run away while boosting Rune with right bumper to give him speed boost carrots of hell. And then shoot it in the mouth. That is the main mechanic of this fight. And unfortunately this worm is a lot dodgier than the other worm. Probably because he's a lot bigger. And look at all those swords embedded in him. This guy has been around for a while. Just, you know, making the land more... Finish it for me at home. Even though it leaps to the sky... Oh god, oh god. It will not summon babies again. The land was not that... Finish it. Okay. It just won't do that move again. At this point, it's nice to just admire the marvelous texture work on War Source. I mean, isn't that thing pretty? It's all like, oh, this is probably not the best time to marvel at War Source. Though I do kind of like how it gets it. Actually, it may start chasing us up out in the open again, so maybe that was worth it after all. And that's it! Yes, that's right. Just like the other word, when he falls, run at him. Only war would make a blood geyser when killing a worm underground.
I guess there's nothing left to do but get the Stygian's heart back to Samael. Still, all these hearts, the power he'll get from them. I hope you know what you're doing.
Totally. What could possibly go wrong? This is why this Volgrim's location is here, by the way. So, let's go ahead... Actually, wait.
Bravo, horseman. Even the ash-crawling Stygian lies dead in your wake. Who can stand against you?
No one. Except, you know, the guy we're feeding all the hearts to. That, he could probably stand against us. So we're heading back to Scalding Gallows. And now we're in Scalding Gallow. Hooray!
What would you ask?
This area is pretty much the same as before, except now you can ride Rune around all the cars. And let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment and ignore that demon and point out how much bigger Rune is than a car. Rune is like 2 cars. He is 2 cars worth of horse, and probably gets better gas mileage. Alright, Samael's waiting for us.
One more. Just one more. And then war. You get your tower. Silitha's web-infested lair is far across the great chasm in the Ashlands. Ruin has yet to regain much of his strength, but he will make the distance. As for Silitha, just get there, and she'll find you. The Brood Mother is a collector of sorts. Most who enter her realm, she feeds to her young, the ones she takes an interest in. Those are the unlucky ones. Those she keeps alive, and they can live a long time. Long enough to tell her things. You could say she collects stories, information.
What stories will she tell me about you, Samael?
Careful, or your ending will be a tragic one. Sometimes the hero dies in the end. But horseman, I like stories that have a happy ending. Now bring me the final heart.
He likes stories that have a happy ending. Books like The Little Engine Who Could are his favorite stories. You know, when he's not eating hearts. That was Soul Bridge. Rune can make Soul Bridge, the whole one of them that is in the game. So, that's a thing. So yeah, now we're on our way to Silitha's lair, which is in the Ashlands, and, well, that's what we're doing. So, I'll see you back in the Ashlands. Here we are, back in the Ashlands once again.
What would you ask?
Yeah, so let's talk about, before we talk about Silitha, let's talk about the Stygian. That is the weakest boss fight. I'm talking about him to, you know, not draw attention to the fact that I totally missed this treasure chest earlier. It's right to the right of Volgrim's location in the Ashlands, and it's a Lifestone Shard, meaning we have yet another full life stone, skull, heart, green, life bar, yes. Okay, so yeah, the Stygian is not a very difficult boss fight. In fact, it's probably my least favorite and least interesting boss fight in the game. But that's just kind of how he is. Anyways, we're back in the Ashlands, and something cool has kind of happened. So, now that we have Ruin, we can now use this area as a new hub. This is the late game hub of the game. That's right, you'll be spending a little bit more time here, and, well, you'll see. You stay here for a while. Like I said, this is the late game hub, as well as the third dungeon of the game. So, the level design, I'm just going to keep running in circles. The level design in this game is fine. I will get off Ruin. Now, get back on. Is kind of great. Because, well, obviously. Oh no! Well, oh. Alright then. A few, additional misses later, and I decided the best way to handle that jump was to get off Ruin entirely. So yeah, this is the third hub of the game, and this is a very long cutscene. Well, not long, it's just, they're floating. They're green and fiery. That's what they do. So yeah, this is your late game hub, and it's kind of fantastic. I mean, look at that. That kind of view is just fantastic, with skyscrapers falling, and you can now activate soul bridges, of which I believe there's only one in the game. I could be wrong about that, and that could have looked smoother. It was still a pretty nice animation, but we are on our way to Silitha's lair, because... What are my horse feet doing? Okay, no. That just doesn't look right. Okay, now I'm gonna... That can't be right, can it? No! It wasn't right, it was just going crazy. Okay, sorry about that, I just noticed that my feet were doing something weird, and it was bothering me. Anyways, spiderwebs! Yay! Yes, that's right. The 4th dungeon and the 4th chosen is all about spiders. And spider things. No one ever looks up. Welcome to the Iron Canopy, the 4th dungeon of the game. War starts out trapped in a cocoon, just web all over him, but that's not gonna stop him. Anyways, so, this is an interesting area, but if you want to find out why, and if you want to see the 4th dungeon of the game, I'll just have to see you in the next one.